Today's episode is going to be about one of our favorite topics, and we've been kind of arguing it until now because it's best time of the year. It's Origin time has come around, and yeah, we're going to talk about league.
Queenslander.
Maybe maybe we should have worn. You know what? I don't have any footy. I chucked out my old retro Broncos jersey because I just kind of grew out of it, and yeah,
What do you mean grew out of it? Like you grew, like you got bigger.
yeah,
Like
man.
at 40, you got
Yeah,
bigger.
still growing,
Oh,
mate.
fuck
Still
off.
growing.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
Are you
no,
serious? As in you mean you got fatter and you can't like
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
fit it properly? Yeah, righto.
It was already like a little bit tight, and it was just got too tight. So I was like, nah, it's got to go. You know the
Yeah,
old
righto.
Broncos one with power on it.
Power, yes.
Yeah, that was a sick jersey. But so I actually have no footy wear at all.
Same. Like I had to like chuck all my shit out, my Queensland jersey, Broncos jersey, all that. Obviously I got way fatter than you, so I had to throw all that out. Should have kept it for memorabilia though. But anyway, but I had to buy like a new. So I've got a Broncos hat, like a
Mm,
cap,
mm.
and I've got a Broncos scarf,
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
like to wear to games and shit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just kick it off in, just looking at it for the sport as a product in itself. And, we're both sport fans and, I love all sports and playing and watching. And the thing that sets rugby league apart is how fast paced it is, the continuity of it, and which is like a massive difference from other American sports, especially where there's so much stoppage due to, I guess, the commercialization of the sport, and kind of you just kind of milk every fucking attention time that you have on the sport by chucking in all these ads. And also the physicality of this of rugby league. So yeah, I said three things: fast pace, along with continuity, physicality, and then the third thing is frequency of scoring. I really like its frequency of scoring, where it's
It's
not
just right.
happening all the time like in basketball, or hardly ever like in soccer. So it's just like every sort of 10 minutes or so generally there is some sort of scoring activity, and kind of keeps you engaged at the right level. So yeah,
And
that's
that's
my,
why the scores are so epic, like for the context of the game and so memorable, right? Yeah, just to add to that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's what really makes it special, and like as a sport in itself. And then there's all these other shit surrounding it, like the cultural
Tri-
aspects.
Tribalism, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, tribalism, all the rivalry, and like the epitome of that is state of origin. So, Boz.
Yeah, yeah. So basically I'll give the brief spiel again. So basically when I immigrated here, I grew up in Campsie, Canterbury, so we'll get that now. Just that's important because Canterbury Bankstown is a massive, massive Sydney club, okay? Massive, all right? Which is obviously the Bulldogs, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Massive Sydney club, heaps of history, yada, yada. So I grew up there, and I was always that D-head, that idiot that always wanted to go for the other team. Like I never wanted to follow the crowd, like out of spite sort of thing, like non-conformist bullshit. And then like everyone obviously goes for the dogs in the area. And I just didn't like that. So I wanted to go for someone else. And then Brisbane Broncos were like one of the most epic teams of that era, like Brisbane Broncos and Canberra Raiders, right? We can whittle off the names, but everyone knows. And then I just liked the Broncos because of the style they played, and there was a very some players that I really fell in love with, that made me fall in love with the game, right? Obviously Darren Lockyer, Alfie Langer being the two big ones from that scene. And then yeah, basically I started following from '97, which is actually the Super League year. Like I mean, I knew about it before, like as a kid, but I really started following the Broncos from '97 because I remember it because that was a Super League year, and then we won it, and then it led to '98, which was the combined competition, which we won it, and then that sort of really started. Ironically, '98 was against Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, grand final win, and then it started it off, and then we won in 2000 again, and then obviously we're against the Roosters, and these are big powerhouse clubs, and then yeah, that's sort of where the love happened, and then naturally we started following Queensland because back then, not so much now. That's the funny thing. This
One
team,
Bronco.
this upcoming one Bronco, exactly. Back then, we're talking 11. I think at one stage 11 Broncos. But certainly at some times, it was generally like five Broncos minimum. 5 to 7, 5 to 8 for a long, long time.
Yeah, and
So
just
yeah.
to give more context to that, so this is a team. Well, this is a sport where there's 13 players aside on the field, and then four on the bench. So a 17 player team, and then there's 16 clubs in the competition. So amongst that, to have one club represented as many as 11 players is fucking insane. So yeah.
Yeah, and which doesn't happen anymore. So that's
No.
how dominant the Brisbane Broncos were, and how small Queensland were as well at the time. And it's hard not to, and like doesn't mean like, people will be like, oh, you're an asshole who goes for Queensland and live in New South Wales. I'm not. I don't have to defend myself, but I'm not one of those fans. It's just hard to not go for that team as a kid when all your players that you go for on a weekly basis are playing for that team. And also, I started to genuinely hate the Blues because of that, and then it manifested more hating the Blues, and then really getting passionate for that Queensland team. But also, and I know this may sound like a bloody write-off, but honestly, I really like what the Queensland team represents, like which is like for the people, underdog, like down and out, and that's been the theme pretty much since day one, and that's what it's all been all about. Beat the talent, you're the underdog, and that sort of
Real
working class
overspill.
spirit. Yeah, yeah, when we're like Blues have always been the talented team or whatever. And I know that's obviously we're going to talk about the errors and whatnot. But yeah, that's sort of my background to rugby league and obviously state of origin. I could talk about the Broncos for a long, long, long time, but as in for state of origin, that's sort of how it all sort of began. And in my defense, in high school, we were getting fucking swatted. And I
Yeah,
stood
yeah, yeah.
loyal. And like, yeah, like,
Let's pause there.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
I think maybe we should talk about Origin itself. Um, okay, so I'll first give my part in terms of my induction into rugby league. I moved over here in '96, and I've always loved sport, and rugby league happened to be on TV, and started watching this thing, and I fell in love with a single player, and his name was Wendell Sailor, and this big black dude who was like super strong and super fast. He was like the first of his own breed, and he would just go around like killing everyone. So I started like just watching this guy all the time, and he obviously played for the Broncos, and that's how I got into the team Broncos. And like Bod said, because Broncos represented the Queensland team so much, it was just a natural kind of inclination. And then once you kind of start watching the team, following the team, and then your heart kind of stays with them. So that's what
Yeah,
happened.
you fall in love with the team. Yeah.
Now, so State of Origin, it started in 1980, and it was like a bit of a new concept. So there's been, and correct me if I'm wrong, Boz. So, but there were state representative games in the past. So Queensland and New South Wales being the two sort of main states that play the sport, and they would play each other, the rep players. But before 1980, it was by the club, by where their club is located, that they would represent that state. And then I don't know what really triggered it, but they decided to change the concept to make it that it is your state of origin, as the name suggests, where you're from, rather than where the club that you're playing for is currently situated in. So that brought a lot of because like New South Wales had all the clubs and all the money, so they would have really strong teams that just belt Queensland year after year, and
Arthur Beetson.
these Queensland players are not able to represent their state. Yeah, go from there.
Yeah, that's right. That's 100% correct. And there was like this inaugural player, obviously, Arthur Beetson, who's obviously since passed, but he was like this like God mode, like forward, just like the OG Sonny Bill Williams, I guess. And then he would like throw like long balls and stuff as a forward and whatever. And he played for Sydney Roosters. He's like a Sydney Roosters legend, but he was a Queenslander. And then that was like the first game, and then like he captained it out, and yeah, like historic moment and all that, and
Yeah,
Queensland won, and then that's how Origin was born. But yes, that's exactly the concept. It's like if you're
yeah.
from, so yeah,
And
go
just
on.
on that, so that first Origin game, and Arthur Beeson, he's like in the twilight years of his career, and he gets to like after all that illustrious career that he had, he gets to captain this first ever Queensland State of Origin team, and he goes out onto the field and like first hit up, he's like swinging his arm at his Roosters teammate, and then like there's like a biffo and punch on, and just like that instant kind of rivalry and animosity begins, and then how many years, almost 45 years down the line, and it's still going on, and it's absolutely the best sporting product that I've ever seen.
It's the one sport, it's the one concept, I believe, where the players, I mean, I know there's money involved, but it's nothing compared to their club contract or whatever, right? And it used to be even less. But it's the one sport where really it's just playing for where you come from. Like it's for representing, your state and your like your state of origin, the area you came from, where you played your junior footy. That's who you're representing. Like, so I think it's like the one sport where like they're almost playing for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was just explaining the concept to my girlfriend earlier, and the way maybe Koreans can relate to this, but if like Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado and Buzz, I don't know if
Yes.
you know, like there's two states that,
Fuck, I know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know they fucking hate each other. Yeah, it's basically that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then if
yeah.
you got rep players in baseball, and they played three times a year to decide who's going to take the shield, and you kind of play in one state and the other type of thing, like the crowd gets crazy. Yeah, that's basically, and the other one, obvious one again for Koreans, is the Haniljeon, Korea playing Japan in.
Korea versus Japan. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And which is weird, like if you think about it, there's two neighboring Australian states. There's like nothing to hate, or like there's nothing in it, but there is for some weird reason, like which is pretty cool. So, yeah. So for me, again, I think the rivalry, the biffo, which is like the punch-ons, and then just how close these two teams competed over the years. So again, we'll talk about it later in terms of how the different eras have developed, but it was like uncanny close for a very long time, which was really cool.
Yeah, until the eight straight. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's enough of a bit of a backdrop on Origin, and basically what we wanted to talk about was um, the top memorable moments, without any rank or whatever, just the
Yeah.
top memorable moments in the three eras that we are going to define during our lifetime of viewing State of Origin. So the three eras being the late 90s to the sort of the mid 2000s, which was pretty much dominated by Blues. And then the next era of Maroons going on a crazy run. Was it like 11 of 12 years?
Uh,
Something.
11 of 12? Yeah,
Yeah.
11 out of 12 years. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
Like, and eight in a row. Like eight, one loss, and three. That's
yeah,
crazy.
that crazy run that we had, and then the final era being like the contemporary, or the recent few years. So yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
of it being sort of, yeah, pretty back to even.
Yeah,
Maybe
tit for tat.
slightly towards the Blues right now.
Yes, yeah, definitely. In
Yeah,
terms of like where the bookies are at and where how the crowd thinks for sure. And
yeah,
that's the beauty of it. We snagged one, like 2020, we snagged that. You know what I mean? Like that's the beauty. And I think that's when Origin is also cool. Like it was awesome winning all those, but
yes,
like just like the 2020 was back to the old like fucking worst Queensland team ever, like
Yeah,
never
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
win it, and then we fucking snag one. You know what I mean?
All right, let's go to I guess the origin, the beginning for us, which was the late 90s. What are some of the let's just go like kind of one by one, some of the key sort of moments or sticking memories.
Yeah, 100%. Look, first of all, I'll go first, and I'll preface it by, look, the like a 1 hour pod is not going to do it justice, obviously. So we're just going to like really scratch the surface. We may revisit again
Hey,
for like
maybe
anything.
maybe we should just
Yeah.
like stay in that era because I don't know. For me, most of the shit that I want to talk about is in this era.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll freestyle,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like
We'll see how we
let's
go.
say, well, okay, so for me, actually, the first one, as I said, I started watching in '97, so I actually watched like the fake Super League series, and we lost that. But Queensland, the last game, like, obviously as a kid, remember watching on the fucking old school CRT TV, like I still remember it. I remember that memory,
Hang on.
but I
So
had to go
Super
back and
League did its own state of origin?
yeah, like a fake one, because obviously it's branded. They can't call it State of Origin. They call it like Tri Series or some shit.
Oh, right. So what
Yeah,
makes the try? Is it New Zealand?
I think it was. Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but it was Queensland, New South Wales at the end.
Okay.
Or maybe it was Tri Series, as in like best out of three or some shit. I can't
Right,
remember, but it
right.
was Queensland versus New South Wales in the final. Wayne Bennett was coaching Queensland,
Yeah.
and had all the Super League players. So we're talking it had like New South Wales had like Laurie Daly and shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it had yeah. So anyway, yeah, basically, I think it might be the longest rugby league game played professionally. I believe it went for like 105 minutes or something because like no one scored. It was draw after 80 minutes. And then, like, they were
Okay.
just being Torres with the field goal. Like they were
Yeah.
just going back and forth. And the India and New South Wales kicked one. They kicked one, and
Okay.
then
Okay.
we lost. And I guess that sort of started it all for me. As like, I remember feeling really bummed as a kid and stuff. Like I remember the vision, the Blues guy kicks the field goal, and then like he's like, and then like all that sort of shit. Yeah, and that's just a memory when I was a kid. But the '98's a big one. So '98. So I don't know if you remember because I was probably more into it at this point. This we
Hmm.
just immigrated,
Hmm.
but '98 game one. And I love it because Joey Johns was playing, right? Joey Johns was playing, back then used to hate him as a player and love watching him lose and have a sulk and whatever, right? Anyway, Joey's playing and he's
Even
having a
even then,
shocker.
even then, before he like won the chip and everything.
Yeah. It's like, like he was, like he was new, he was fresh,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
think maybe his debut as a seven.
yeah.
Maybe his debut as a seven, I believe,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. Anyway, he's playing halfback and he's having a shonker, right? And then like he's missed all his conversions and shit, having a shonkazoids. And then it was 23-18 because he kicked a field goal before halftime, right? So it's 23-18 because he fucking missed a conversion. So if he
Yeah.
got that conversion, it would be 25-18 or anyway, missed the conversion, 23-18.
Up, up.
Everyone go YouTube it. 1998 game one. So like Kevin Walters kicks from inside our own half, like that classic crossfield kick to like the winger. Ben Eichen gets it, runs, gets tackled, and then we just make our way downfield. And then like Alfie Lange inside ball to Tony Carroll. Tony Carroll is playing back then. Boom, scores a try near the sticks.
Oh, is
And
this
then
Lockie's conversion?
yeah, and then Lockyer has to convert, and then we win by 1 point, 24-23. And like that was my first like Queenslander like last second try. We've got obviously all that Marcoin shit before era, but that was my Queensland first moment, like clutch, last second, never say die, we're in the game and whatever. Anyway, we go on to win that series, like we lose game two, but we win game three. But anyway, that 1998 game one, last second clutch. Clutch Tony Carroll last second try on the buzzer and then
Yeah.
conversion to win it. Yeah. How about you, man?
Well, I'm sure I didn't watch that live because yeah, I don't really remember it. And my ones, I'll try to kind of make it chronological, but um, I guess the reason that I have most to talk about this era, late 90s to mid 2000s, before our domination, was because I cared the most during those time. It fucking pained me to lose three in a row to the Blues and shit. Like it would fucking cut me deep. And I remember and I remember more like snippets, right? So like when Fittler returned, and then also like when Joey returned, like those kind of snippet moments where we lost yet again. And I
Yeah, in the mid
remember,
2000s.
yeah, I remember Gus when he was coaching, and he must have brought in all these rookies, and like and Hodgson made like 300 meters that game and just like shredded us apart.
Yeah,
Um,
2000.
yeah, yeah. So Boz will know all the years off by heart, but yeah, like those kind of snippet memories are what kind of stuck with me. One that I will talk about is
The hand grenade and getting smashed like Ryan Girdler,
yeah,
Fletcher,
yeah,
all
all
that.
that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
The 10-pin bowling ball, like that shit. Like lots of cheesy shit that the Blues used to do when they were just like so good. They were so deep and all flashy and shit. Um, but yeah, one that I kind of really remember is Adrian Lamb, and well, it was a close game.
Oh, yeah.
Harrigan, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
So I can't even remember the core, but like
Some knock on or
Tallis,
something,
who is
yes.
an absolute like symbol of Queensland, that Queensland kind of what is it like that aggression. Like he is the symbol of that aggression.
Raging Bull.
Yeah, the raging bull, and he's like, they've got a. We've just been robbed the game, and he's going up to Bill Harrigan and going like, "You're a fucking cheat." And then Harrigan like initially gives him the 10, and then Tallis keeps going, so he just goes, just go, just
Yeah,
just
that
repeating that.
vision. Yeah.
That
Yeah, and Adrian Lamb on the side. Ah,
yeah,
classic
like that.
Origin,
I
bro.
think I think those painful memories really like stick with me the most, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, because for you it's that era, and this is I agree with you. It's probably when I wouldn't say cared the most, but there was definitely like you're at school and then like everyone's giving you shit because you go for
Yeah,
Queensland and
yeah, yeah.
Brisbane in the first place, and then like yeah, so I used to know everything off by heart. And, now, obviously, the years have passed, but yeah, the years are so. You're talking about the 2000s, the early 2000s. Now we're just getting smashed. So 2000s, the year Hodgson comes, just rips it apart, and like just you don't even. I think that's also the Taylor send off one of those games where the
Yeah.
game was in the balance, and that's also the year where we get smashed like 50. Clean
Yeah, yeah,
sweep
yeah.
50 to yeah, and that's the hang like that year. I just yeah selective memory Gonski, but that's the year we get like freaking smash. And then 2001, just to quickly touch on, that's when we have a brief. That's when Wayne Bennett comes back and all those
Carlos,
rookies
right?
come on. Yeah, no. 2001's where all the rookies come in, like Tony Buttigieg or whatever his name is. All these
Carl
no
Webb?
names.
Carl Webb?
Carl Webb, yeah, and all these no names come in, yeah, like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
hooker,
like John
like John
Doyle
Doyle,
and shit. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Doyle and shit, like all these randoms, like from North Queensland and shit, people we don't even know. And then that's like the famous like Lockyer try, like Kamali kicks it downfield, Lockyer gets the ball, passes to Takiri, Takiri makes a break back to Lockyer, like that sort of crazy
That's the
shit. And
one
then
with
like
the cool camera work, right? Is that the
yeah,
one?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
when
that's
when
the one.
they
Yeah, where it goes, yeah.
yeah, 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 cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. And then yeah, so that's the one where that happened and then and that is the series where Alfie came back in game three. Um
Ah, yes,
remember
of course.
that try. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So that's that one. And then we just get smashed in '03, '04, '05.
Right,
Smashed.
right.
'03 is the Joey one, '04 is the Fitler one,
Yeah.
and '05 is the Joey one again. Okay. So
Joey
like
came back
'03 is
twice.
no, so '05 is the famous Joey one. '03 is like just Joey being
The
Joey,
the
like
the,
and just
the
yeah, that's '03
yeah,
Suncorp,
yeah, yeah.
but that's not the '05 is like the comeback, like the comeback and fucking freshes. So '03 and '04, '05, so Joey and Fitler
Yep.
just cars. And Lockie's probably still young. So Joey and Fitler in their prime, and Lockie's just had under because they're in their 30s, and
Yep.
Lockie's probably in the like mid 20s, like 26 ish at the
Still
time.
still playing fullback, yeah?
Yeah, I know 5'8" at the time, but
5'8"
just
then.
started. Yeah,
Right,
just
yeah, just
started. Just
yeah.
started. Yeah, yeah. So he's getting hammered and stuff. So that's sort of that era. The only shining light in that era was '02. So I'm freestyling here. Obviously, that's the Carlo one, and that's one of the again. I
Carlos try in
remember
the
because I
corner.
Carlos. I remember it because I remember what I was doing. I was at Croydon Park. This is my parents had the shop. I don't know you remember that. And then it was in that small room that was downstairs because my parents were up. And then I was watching it on the small TV.
Yep,
And then I was feeling bummed because we're like another series gone or whatever.
yep.
And then like last second, like literally last second. Alfie gives it to Carlo, and Carlo brushes off Jason Moody. Oh, like
Yeah,
classic forward
it's like
try.
just
Like I
bumps
love
off
that.
like
Yeah,
three people in the
I
corner.
love that.
It goes
Yeah,
crazy.
love those sort of tries. Like Sekiro from like 30, 40 meters out, just line break and then like,
Yeah, that was.
fend off the fullback. And then I just remember that. And that's the one where Tallis was like, and like to the crowd and stuff because there was the
Hang
sign
on,
like
no. Were
FAR
you
or
talking about
whatever.
Carlo or Carl Webb? You're talking about
Car law. No, car law. I'm talking about that.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the last
Carl.
second try.
Because
Yeah,
Carlo's try led to the series being drawn, but we'd won the
drawn.
previous one,
Yeah,
so,
that's
so
right.
it
That's right.
became a win for us.
Yeah, correct. But we should have just converted it because Gus Gould keeps
Oh, who
saying
gives
it's
a
a
fuck?
draw.
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
whatever.
true. Yeah.
Um,
No, it's just annoying that he does, but yeah, you know what
what
I mean.
about which one? Do you remember which year Matty Bowen's intercept was? I'm pretty sure we lost that
That
series, but yeah.
Yeah, we lost that series. That's '05 game one. '05
Okay.
game one. We were killing it, and then New South Wales came back, and then we went to Golden Point, and
Yeah.
then Matty Bowen scored it. Great, that was great. I remember we were at Stratford Pub, dude. So I don't know if you remember, but we were at Stratford Pub, and then we are just killing it first half, 19-0 or something, and they came back, and then 19 all, and then I don't know, 20 alls because like Thurston had to kick another field goal or something shit. Anyway, yeah, and then like Matty Bowen instance, I remember we're at Sharp Up.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, I think for me, the reason that it's most memorable is because I was most invested during that time. You know, like as you said, you talk where this is the stage where well, after Friday night footy, we're like talking on the phone and analyzing the game for like 2 hours and stuff. Um, every during Origin period at school, like that's all we're talking about at school, like with mates. The next day, if Queensland win, like you know, we go to school with a big smile. Otherwise, we just get owned at school. Yeah, just
I
all
wonder
the
if kids still do that. I wonder
yeah.
if kids still do that.
And you know,
Yeah.
Thursday night footy show, like we used to watch that shit
Ah, yeah,
religiously.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sunday
Back then.
roast, Sunday footy show.
Yeah, the boots and all and Sunday roast. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, far
yeah. So
out.
like, you know, I think I was probably most into league during that time. You know, like obviously during our glorious run as well. But yeah, I think for me the painful memory. But you know, again, one um, I guess good memory out of that is definitely Ragdoll Tallis. Now, I'm sure
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah.
it was in a series that we lost, right?
I think that was the '02, the drawn one,
Okay,
actually.
okay.
Yeah,
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 Ragdoll just, you know, grabbing Hodgson by the scruff of the neck and dragging him like 20 meters
yeah. Classic.
sideline. That shit is so good.
So good.
Yeah. Anything else from that that era?
No, I think, well, as I said, we could probably drill down a bit further, but yeah, I mean, as I said, '03, '04, '05, smashed, right? Couple of moments here and there. But I guess the one thing though is '04, game two. That's Billy Slater's try. And I just
Oh, of
remember like
course.
the context of the game. And I believe I could be wrong on this one. I believe we were at our mate's house, who lives in Strathfield. We were at his place. I think it was me, you, and him because that's, the footy, as you said, the Friday night 40 days or whatever. And, he goes for the dogs and whatnot. So we were most into it then. And then, yeah, just the context of the game, like, it was neck and neck, and then we needed something. Suncorp Stadium, Lockie puts in like a midfield grubber. There should be more of that. There's not enough of that these days. Bang, puts it in. Slater, bang, around Minicello, chips and chase, bang, and then he just slams the ball out, and like the way he goes like that, yeah, just obviously that's an origin history, but yeah, like the context of that try was epic. It's a shame we didn't go on to win that series because that try is probably, yeah, not. I mean, it's still considered epic, but yeah, it would just shame we didn't win the series. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that sort of covers. I mean,
Yeah,
our memory is hazy as well. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
for
That
me,
was
for me,
20
that's
years ago.
the best Origin try that I've seen live.
Same, same.
Yeah, most dramatic. Just it's yeah that chip, the regather, the step, and then the chip again, and then the post try like yeah celebration.
Yeah, the post try, the yeah, it's
Yeah.
so iconic. And like, Slater was a bit of a shit. Like people forget he was a bit of a shecky. He had that
Oh yeah.
he had that in him, which is
Oh,
great.
he's a bit of a dirty player, I reckon. But anyway,
Oh, like the sliding tackles and shit. Like
yeah,
the
yeah, and then like the high
yeah,
tackles, like he had that sort of niggle in him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so should we move to the next era?
The golden, the absolute golden. So do you want me to kick off this?
Sure.
So yeah, basically at this point, it's like pretty much, smack back during uni, and gone are the days. Ironically, this was as we just mentioned, we used to meet up together, watch it, or go to Stratfield pub and watch it. Even some of the girls would come along watch it. Other friends from other circles would come and watch it. Um, but we were getting smashed. Unfortunately, the tide turns and then that sort of all stops because like people have moved on from rugby league really at this point. But yeah, I'm diehard and Dennis not as diehard, but like sticking around for Origin at the very least. And yeah, pretty much. Long story short, I'll give you the overview and Dennis can start asking questions. But yeah, we go on a run. We win eight in a row, basically. We win eight in a row. Oh 06, oh 06, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We win eight in a row. 8 years,
And
man.
prior to that, so that was it starts in '06, right? So in the previous 25 years, the longest streak that anyone has is three at most, yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
And then yeah, as I said, it was like neck and neck for 25 years. And then
Yeah,
all of a sudden there's like eight in a row, which is like a massive anomaly.
crazy. And we probably won't see it again in our lifetime unless there's another generation of players. Obviously, look, that's the overview. It's like, but like, it's easier. Like, it's just saying it is nothing. You just got to really sit back and think about eight Origin series in a row. Crazy. And obviously, the nucleus, there was obviously a core group of players who were pretty much born around the same time and, obviously peaked at the same time, whatever. And that comes down to obviously Jonathan Thurston, Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater, and Greg Inglis, I would say, really took the reins. And obviously Darren Lockyer for half of it. So Darren Lockyer towards the end, and then he sort of, sort of guided them and then handed over the reins and then poof, off they went. Lockyer still won five in a row with them, basically, and then they won three in a row, lost one, and then won another three. So I mean, it's just insane. 11 out of 12. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's just a really weird coincidence of these generational players all being on one side of the state, and just peaking at the same time. Like it's just the odds of that is just ridiculous. And there was
correct,
some
correct.
close series amongst that eight, but we just happened to win them all.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. We won when it counted. Like, yeah, there was some close series, there was some blowouts, but then yeah, we just managed to win where it counted. And there's so many moments, and this is where the memory gets hazy. And to be honest, we could really do some proper prep on it. But considering considering our personal lives at the moment, I doubt we could or did. But without someone doing it for us. But yeah, like I mean, some core moments. We can tit for tat. For
Mm,
me, obviously the '06 game three,
mm.
um,
The beginning.
bro. Yeah, a bit of context is that game three, we're just getting roared by the refs, man. We're like it was like we're getting roared, like and then because there was this like knock on, and then they gave New South Wales a try, and then it was like 14-4, and like 10 to go, and I'm like, oh, this, like, I was like, so pissed off at the refs. And then Jonathan Thurston later came back and said, yeah, because he told Lockyer in the huddle, man, they don't want us to win, bro. This is rorted, blah blah blah. And he said like, don't worry, boys, just stick to the process, follow me. I'm gonna kick long, and away we go. Um, but yeah, lo and behold, the the Lockyer try is important, but the try before. So let me refresh your memory. Nate Miles
Mm,
offloads to
mm,
Thurston inside
mm,
our own 20. Thurston, dummy, steps
mm,
inside, I don't know, whoever. Bang, early ball to Brent Tate.
mm,
Perfect timing, like nice ball as well. That's hard to do. Brent
mm,
Tate on the fly, boom. Tate, like twilight end of his career, just gives it his all, skirts down the sideline. And
mm.
this is where Menzies screws up a bit, because Menzies could have like pushed him towards the corner to make him score in the corner, but like Menzies kind of went for the do or die, and then Tate comes around, puts it back, and does this thing, and then does that as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah,
then yeah, it just that really like gave the momentum shift for sure. And then obviously a guaranteed 6 pointer put us at 14-10, which gives us the chance to win the game, because
yeah.
now like we just need a conversion. And
Mm.
then of course, Lockyer kicks long, and then Wayward pass, and then Lockyer just bang clutch. Obviously the Michael Jordan of rugby league.
Much
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
the
rugby
clutch.
league.
Yeah, that's what Gus calls him.
It's
Yeah, the clutch
big
king.
call, mate. Big call.
No, no, just in terms of just the clutch,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
clutch. Yeah. Anyway, just like boom, goes through,
Who
and
throws
then the
that pass?
commentary is the best. I think it was Hodgson, Hodgson or Eric Grove. No, it was Eric Grove to Hodgson. I think Eric Grove or Matt King, like one of them, one
Yeah,
of
okay,
them.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
and then
no,
like
isn't that? Oh
yeah,
no.
the commentary, oh no, and then like Sterling's like, whoa, and then Gus is like, oh no, and like Sterling's like, oh, and like the awe is the best, because like no
Yeah,
one's expecting it, and
yeah,
then it's like, and the throws away, like just that reaction is so genuine.
yeah. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then like everyone comes and smashes him, and yeah, like, and
Well,
then Locke is like,
Tanza comes and
yeah, yeah.
massive hit up on him. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then like Tchaikovsky converts, and then like they just grind it out, and Locke is like, "Let's get out of here, boys," or whatever. Like you can hear him like, when he's walking back and shit, crazy. But like that for me, iconic.
yeah. Well, that one's definitely there. I guess for me, when it comes to this era, yeah, it's definitely hazy. Like, 8 series wins in a row, so it's hard to sort of remember season by season. But for me, like a pretty strong impression that I had of this era was like GI dominance. Like Greg Inglis, I don't know how he stacks up against Mal Meninga, like, because I obviously didn't watch him play, but definitely from the centers that I've seen, like this, I don't know, 6'3", like just athletic specimen who's got like massive long stride and like really strong upper body to just like fend off everyone. This guy would just like when he's it's just like in green pasture, he's like unstoppable. And it's so good having someone like that in your back line. He's just like early ball and like off you go, and he's just gonna do something. And yeah, it was like amongst all the generational players that we had, for some reason, like just GI dominance just stuck with me when I was preparing this.
We don't win 8 in a row without GI. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, like
Oh
we
well,
don't
like
win
as
8
in,
in a row
you can
without
say
GI.
that with a lot of the key players, obviously.
Yeah, that is true. But GI he was such a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, because he scored the points, man. But like,
yeah,
anyway, yeah,
yeah. No, it's
no,
just
dude,
extremely, extremely dominant. Like
yeah,
you just felt good about having him. Like obviously the platforms are laid by the spine. Especially Cam Smith. We talk about Darren Lockyer being the first 5 years of the domination to kickstart things off, but throughout the whole era, Cam Smith was there basically.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention Cam Smith. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
ironically, yeah, yeah,
He's the
100%.
very backbone of all this, and he is like the goat. Well, Cleary, when it's all said and done, will probably take that mantle eventually. But
Yeah, well, let's see about that one. I know I'm a bit biased, but I mean, you know, I mean, four premiership wins is no simple feat, and like Panthers fans can go nuts on me on this, but I reckon he's won weaker competitions than Cameron Smith's teams.
Mm.
Just my take. Just my take. Like when I say, and that's not Penrith's fault. When I say weaker competitions, I mean they really only had like one opponent at best, which was Melbourne Storm, which they
What about
beat
Bronx,
last year, which is great.
what about Bronx, mate?
Dude, we no no, well, we weren't near them though. They've been that high for so long. We had one like I shouldn't say fluke, but we had one crazy year. Dude, we've been like
Yeah,
bottom.
no, no,
We
but I'm
haven't,
saying
yeah.
that grand final, that GF, he fucking took it.
No, 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 no. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they haven't had formidable opponents, unfortunately. In my opinion, um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they've like Para weren't in that grand final. Like I feel bad for Para fans. Like haven't won since '86 or whatever. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
another story. But yeah, yeah, yeah. So back to the origin. Yeah, obviously I forgot to mention Cam Smith. Bloody hell. But yeah, Cam Smith, Jonathan Thurston, Cooper Cronk, Greg Inglis, Billy Slater, and I mean the support cast as well. Like Justin Hodges, Darius Boyd. And that's the backs obviously. Not to mention obviously the hardworking forward pack that we had, and then
Yep.
again,
Miles Scott.
past Miles Scott. Uh, who's that other crazy big nut we used to have? Forgot his name, but yeah, you know, off the back of obviously Darren Lockyer, Stephen Price, and Petro Civoniceva, who again passed on the baton and so forth. But quick story about GI for this one actually. There was an interview with Justin Hodges, and his last Origin was in 2015. So this was after the era, but the sort of the last of it, like towards the end of the career.
Mm.
And it was two at 2015 game three at Suncorp. And then I think we've been smashed at Sydney or whatever, like nothing new. Like we win game one, smashed in Sydney, and then it's like decided at Suncorp again, whatever, right? And then like Justin was like to GI. And Justin just he hates losing, right? And then he told GI, he was like, hey, GI man, I can't lose this game. Like I can't lose this game. I can't go out a loser. Like because that was his last year for Origin. He's like,
Yep.
can't go out a loser as a Queenslander. Because Justin Hodges had such a horror debut, and then I think that's sort of maybe in his mind or whatever. Which we didn't mention the Justin Hodges
I
was
had
one
that
of
on my
the
list actually.
yeah yeah yeah
Hojo Shocker
yeah
was it, I think.
I remember those. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so basically Gia and then GI was like, don't worry, brah, gotcha. And then like GI fucking killed that game.
Yeah.
Like killed that game. That's the game we beat him like 50-10. That's like the one where Thurston's like telling Pierce like, oh, you'll never the only photo you'll get of Wally Lewis is next to the statue. Like, like we just smashed them like 50-10 or whatever.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But for those who don't know rugby league, do yourself a favor. Greg Inglis like highlights and then like State of Origin highlights. Like it's insane. 2006 game two. Like I mean, he has so many. Like he State of Origin, as you said, he was great for Queensland.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I just love watching that guy run. Like especially in his younger years when he was sort of leaner. Like him at his full stride is like a gazelle. It's like a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
2006 game three, game two, boys. Yeah, that's the one.
yeah. Yeah. The other one, Gal and Miles going at it.
Yeah, that
Is that
started the
sort of
whole no
later on?
punching in rugby league. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Which
was a
is
bit overblown that one.
yeah, which is a shame because like Biffo is such a big part of Origin, and it's probably not the same. Maybe that ship has sailed. You reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a fuck so much these days, because we've haven't seen it for so long. It's kind of like the shoulder charge when they first said they're gonna get rid of it. I was like, oh, I'll never watch rugby league again. But like, as time goes by,
Hmm.
you just sort of adjust. And look, some people might get totally like because one thing I really hate now is like the six again rule, and
Yep.
like my mate who I told you about, who's a diehard Bunny supporter, like he hates it as well. Like he's from our era as well. And then like we just like I think a lot of people, and I look at I've obviously got a lot of social media for rugby league. Most people from our era hate that rule. hate that rule. Like that six again rule
I
is
think the
trash,
rule's
right?
fine. I think it's used poorly.
Well, yeah, well, you can say that, but then
Yeah.
how are
Yeah,
you
'cause
going to use it properly,
I
though? You
like
know?
the idea behind it, like to keep the pace, that continuity. But if it's used for refs as a bit of a cop out when you don't really want to blow the whistle, I think it should be left up to the attacking team to stop the play or not when you get six again. Do you know what I mean?
Also, there has to be like a quick decision or something, like
Yeah,
refs,
well,
like
if you just
ball.
like yeah, if you just say, hey, we're going to take the penalty, then they can. That's what I
Mm,
think.
yeah, yeah. But like one thing I hate also is, look, you say a good point. You like the theory,
Yep.
but it doesn't work, right? Just like buddy, communism, bro. Theory is good, but in practice, it doesn't work, bro. You know. So like another good one is uh the the seven tackle set. Like I hate that too. Like do you agree? Like that's like the theory is good, right? Because it's meant to like promote attacking football by passing. Yeah. But
Mm-mm.
like you're punishing like near perfect kicks. Like you fucking do the most perfect kick, and how many times we see it just rolls on and then boom touches dead ball line, and then the other team gets rewarded second tackle set. It is ridiculous.
I always thought it should be a 30-meter restart.
No, man,
I,
twenty is massive, dude. What like? Also, you probably like it then, because that's pretty much what
I
it
don't mind
does.
it. Like I'm like
I
whatever.
hate it, man.
Yeah,
I
I don't
hate
think
it.
it's a big deal.
Yeah. Nah, I hate it. Like it's I don't understand why you need to give the advantage to the defensive team who did nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I never thought 20-meter restart was a big enough punishment for a shoot kick.
nah, it's plenty. Look, think about it. A normal play, right?
Yeah.
You probably like, let's say a successful play,
Mm.
you would probably kick it down, find some grass, and then fullback brings it up and gets probably tackled on the 10, 15 meter line, right? Tackle one,
That would be
right?
a good set for the defense.
Okay, all right. But let's say between 15 to 20 then, right? Tackle one.
Sure.
But then like no one's there, yeah? You got the fullback and the two wingers, right? So like the forwards are walking back and shit. Like that's the whole point because then like the backs have to hit it up and by the time you get your first fullback who's probably gassed, that will be tackle three, right? So like that's enough reward for the I mean that's like
Yeah, for the yeah, no, I get it, I get it.
no, yeah. Sorry. So that's enough reward because for the when you start under 20, everyone's back. Yeah, everyone's back. Everyone's had a breather. That's what I meant. So that's enough reward compared to what you would have to do. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Anyways.
Let's bring it back to the current date, and then let's just talk about the upcoming series, and then wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah. As I said, probably I wouldn't say a shame, but probably like we didn't get to touch on the dominance that much, but maybe we can like sort of create like a special app. Maybe we watch some clips and react to it or something like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, because I mean, it doesn't do it justice. That
No, no,
sort
it
of
doesn't. It
11
doesn't.
out of
We
yeah.
definitely didn't spend enough time on it, but yeah, I just don't know if we. Well, like I don't know. Do you want to go further more into it?
No, honestly, I don't have probably enough data and prep for it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, like I
Gotcha.
said, probably another day. And we're sort of obviously free balling here, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we can come up with an idea like a special app where we watch. I think this is a good one where we can watch the game, like no copyright because we just watch it on the separate screen. We just react to it and talk about it and stuff like that. There's some of that content. I'm sure you know.
Can we watch it?
You can, but like you won't be able to be like like monetized or whatever. You might even get
Yeah.
flagged for it, but like who cares? Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it then. Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. I don't give a shit. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's take it back to current then. Honestly, current's the toughest for me. So I'll say my say and then give it off to you. Yeah, like obviously it's been during like last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, I met someone, got married, had a kid, about to have a second. Like that's probably been my last 4 or 5 years. So, hasn't really been the priority, but definitely. still into it. I've probably gone over to your place to watch a couple of the games here and there. Um, but yeah, hazy. Like I said, look, 2020. I remember. So that's the like worst Queensland year, and then Munster kills it. So I
Hey, who
remember that
said
a
that?
bit. Paul Gallen.
Ah, love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Love Gal, man.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
Gal.
Yeah, part of the
Yeah,
theater.
yeah.
Um, and I remember like one of the years we just got smashed. I remember that, but I think the one that comes to memory, mate, was a couple of years ago, mate. The one we saw at your house, game one.
Mm.
That's the whole. Again, we're getting rorted by the refs, and then blah blah blah, and then
Always getting
that's
rotted
the
by
one where Hammer goes down the sideline. Hammer like brr, Hammer like goes down the sideline, brings it back. We're in the game, and then like Lindsay Collins gets the ball,
Oh, yeah,
out
yeah,
jumps
yeah.
Tedesco, throws it back inside to Munster, and then everyone goes and runs to congratulate Lindsay, and like Munster's on his own and shit. Like, that's good stuff. Like everyone's just going back to. So that one, and of course the Ben Hunt. Like that you were at mine. Amy was pregnant with her first, and it was game three, right? And then like Munster was out, and then we were like telling Amy, well, look, we probably don't have a chance. We're just gonna chill out and watch it, and then we play out of our skin. Like Kalen Ponga plays out of his skin that night.
Right.
Do you remember that? Do you remember
Nah,
that?
nah, zero.
But do you remember the try when like you remember the try, right? Where Ben Hunt gets the ball and runs like 70 meters. You remember the Ben
Uh,
Hunt try?
nah, man, I don't.
Oh,
I don't.
oh, your recent's real hazy. All
Um,
right, I got it. I got a link
yeah,
with
no,
that.
no, nothing really comes to memory, but I just thoroughly enjoy it. Like, um, this season I've kind of watched maybe half the Broncos games. Last season hardly any. The season before when we went to the GF, like watched a few then, but rugby league had been pretty much like an afterthought for me because I
Yeah,
got more into basketball or
yeah.
just
But you watched the finals though, obviously.
yeah, but
Like as in our final series, yeah.
yeah, but Origin is always something like I wouldn't miss it for the world, and I watch it and I just enjoy it every single time. It's not like the same where I used to just yearn for victory so much. Like after we had that run of dominance, like victory kind of it's kind of out of the system now. So, I'm like,
I,
yeah,
I agree.
it's always great to win, but I'm not like
I agree.
desperate and yearning.
Yeah, I'm not like Devo. Yeah, I'm not Devo when we don't win. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So maybe
Yeah, yeah.
until we get raped for like 5 seasons in a row or something, that desperation isn't going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I always get the like it always gets the heart pumping and like during the game, and I definitely like get that feeling where you feel like shit when you lose, and like just in general. But yeah, obviously not like back then. As I've mentioned to you before, for me it's about the Broncos, man. 20-year drought next year. I mean, it doesn't look like we're gonna win it this year. So 20-year drought. Man, for the Brisbane Broncos, that's crazy. That's like one thing my mate said is like, because he's like, man, you're not loyal to anything much in life apart from like, obviously he's joking, but I'll give you one thing: you're loyal to the Brisbane Broncos because like we haven't won shit in 20 years. He goes, normally you'd fucking jump ship.
Yeah, no, 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 obviously not. But yeah, no, it's the fact that we've been robbed twice during that the
Oh,
last 20 years. So
don't want
that's
to,
we've
yeah.
been so close twice. That's what hurts.
Yeah. I mean, even then, I would still feel it's an underachievement, but those we should have got. Like, one a decade is the. Like, I think the Broncos should be aiming for one every 5 years, realistically. Like,
That's
realistically,
basketball.
one every
That's,
5 years,
there
but
are 16 teams in the comp.
yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. With the Brisbane Broncos, like, that's what we were. But
Yeah,
I'm saying, but now, realistically, if you win one in a decade, that's why the Penrith are
it should be one,
incredible.
one,
But
one a decade at least. Yeah,
yeah, one a decade at least, and then, but you want to make two per decade, like at least make it. That's what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying. But we
Yeah.
have, yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I've been more, Broncos, and I think you mentioned you watched some game this year. Like, did you watch the fucking Souths game by any chance?
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Broncos.
one yeah, yeah, no, I watched that. We were
You
up
watched that?
first half and then
Weren't you raging?
oh, it
Weren't you
was
raging?
no, this team's terrible.
Yeah,
it's
this fucking
one of the
sucks.
most frustrating Broncos teams I've seen.
Yeah,
All
like
the
compared to
talent,
like
no heart.
yeah, like talent versus
Yeah,
performance and results. Yeah, it's ridiculous, right?
yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. Yeah, like but I also think like look, I love Adam Reynolds. He's done us a great service. But I also think like I don't, you know what I mean? Like he's probably like part of the issue at the moment a bit as well. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
he gets injured too much.
Yeah, like
I never
you know,
feel
in general.
safe with
You
him.
never feel comfortable, you never
Yeah.
feel safe, and he's not really closing out games. Um he's not really doing the killer punch as well. You know, you're up 14-0 and you really want to just ice it with another try and a conversion or whatever. You know, he's not really doing that part, and then that's why we lose because we're up 14-0, can't ice it. I don't know if you did you watch the Dragons game by any chance?
No.
The last one? Oh my God, like bro, same shit. Like we're up 12-0, then 12-4, and then second half we let in 26 points, dude. Like
Hmm.
30, their
Yeah, like
final score was 30.
defense
Like
is
it's ridiculous.
obviously the issue, I think.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
anyway,
all
yeah.
right, so let's talk about the upcoming series and yeah, what do you reckon?
Yeah, look, it's back to the classic you know, like no one gives us a chance sort of thing because New South
Love
Wales are
it.
so stacked. It's
Love
great. I love it. Look,
underdog state. Love it.
100%. Look, I'm the first to admit, as I just alluded to, I'm so much more invested in the Broncos at the moment. So, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as amped as uh, previous series and years. I mean,
Yep.
I'll still, you know, obviously have a good night to watch them and stuff, but yeah, I'm sort of like, oh, it's good. And also, my second kid's coming like in a month or two, so you know, there's obviously a lot going on. So no, it's a nice to have at the moment. It's like great, like entertainment's gonna be great, passion will be there and all that. But um, you know, but on game night I'll be up for it. But yeah, like I really want to see how the Broncos go this year. So
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
that's where my head's at the moment. I'm just being
Yeah,
honest. That's where my head. Like
yeah.
I sort of become like the guy, you know, where the Blues used to be, where they're like, "Oh, I don't want my players to get injured." Like,
Oh,
I haven't gone that far, but
yeah.
I'm really to the point now where I'm very invested in the Broncos, particularly since 2023,
Right, right.
because I'm married, I'm a kid, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I just need the Broncos to win a title, man, so that my life can be complete. Does that make sense? I've got a
Yes.
son now, I've got a daughter on the way. Life is fucking perfect. I need the Broncos to win a title.
Right,
That's
right.
so that's where I'm at, man.
Well, I know the Broncos won't go anywhere this season, so like whatever. Like I've kind of like removed that from the equation, and Queensland is all there is. So this is, as was said, back to the classic. Blues just being stacked with all the talent. Now they have like experience and a bloody goat of a player leading the pack. So like we're really kind of fucked. But that's good. That's when our backs are against the wall, and that's when it gets interesting, and that's when we really show Queensland spirit. So we're definitely outsiders for game one, but it's up at Suncorp. It's like it's literally a must win. Otherwise, it can be a whitewash. So yeah, let's just get that first win and then see where it goes. So yeah,
Yeah, and I think
the good old tale all over again.
yeah, and that's the beauty of it, though. I will say this: 30 years, you know, whatever, in the making, and it still comes back to the story of no one gives Queensland a chance. Like fucking all the star players are injured. Like that's the beauty of it. It's the same fucking formula.
Yeah.
It's the same formula, and then it's the same story. You've seen it before, but it's so damn good. So I will give it that. Um, yeah, just to give a bit more about this game and this series, I guess because it's fresh, I would say game one is crucial, as you just said. I think whoever wins game one, I know it's cliche to say, but this one in particular, whoever wins game one will win the series. I
Where's
think that's a
game
fair
two?
call. Game two is the one out interstate, I think,
Okay.
and then
Perth?
Sydney's game three. Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
so. Can you double check that? Anyway,
Yeah, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so basically, I think whoever wins game one wins the series, most likely, because you would like to think Queensland can jag another one after Suncorp. You would hope, but again, it's not a guarantee. That's how much harder it is for Queensland. But I mean, to give Queensland any
In
shot, they
Perth.
need to win. Yeah,
It's in Perth,
so
man. That's what really, gives us a shot.
yeah, game two's Perth, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
And game
it's
three
gonna be
is
tough, man. Like, as in,
and game
if we
three is
won't,
Sydney, is it?
yeah, yeah, we're not gonna win game
Yeah,
three. So
yeah.
like,
So
it'll
we
have
need
to
to
be
win the
one of
first
two.
two.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like
So
if first is doable, but two in Perth, like to get two games consecutively against this Blues team is gonna be a mega challenge.
that's why it's really hard. It's not even game one that is the guarantee. Like game one is a prerequisite. We just need to win game
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
and then and then you need to like really go for game two. And look, just a little bit of footy analysis on this one. I do believe we really need to, as I mentioned in our private chat, is we need to. It's that sort of game, where we're just niggling and apparently it's going to be wet and rainy a little bit as well. Great. Works in our favor. Just fucking dogfight it. Like fucking shots, cheap shots, niggly, knock ons, make them knock on, make them, their set plays aren't working as well, frustrate them, and then like really get down to like a 12-8, 16-12 sort of game. But that's tough, man. Holding the Blues to such a low score like that, I mean, it's like on the edge of your seat stuff, to be
Yeah,
honest. It's not going to be a comfy ride.
just gonna pray that Mitch Moses has a shocker. That's what I'm gonna, like throws out these shocking long balls outside and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The shit part is it could be a blowout. The shit part is it could be a blowout. That's the shit
I
part, I
doubt it.
guess.
Not for game one.
Not for game one?
Queensland pride, man. They're not gonna let that happen, surely.
Yeah, true. I mean, look, our saving grace is we have Cameron Munster and Kalen Ponga. I must say, like,
Yep.
if we didn't have those two, I think we'd be royally fucked. Like, at least, like, having them two gives us a glimmer of hope. Does that
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sense?
Like
Yeah, yeah.
the weaker the team is, the more these game breakers mean to your team, and definitely like especially Munster. If you think about the last like 5 years, like Munster's been such a big part of the team. So yeah,
Yeah, he's been like the new X factor of this era,
yeah,
like our shit era, like our down era, right?
yeah, 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 for sure.
Because like I don't think DC is like I think he's had his time. I don't even know why he's like it's good to have him there. I get it, but like if I was Slater, I would be telling him like, hey man, you've been a great seven to the game, but what I want you for this series is to do X, Y, Z.
Mm,
But I want you to now like show like lead the way and then like pass the reins to Tommy Dearden like I
mm,
would want the transition rather than being like hey we're gonna you know what I mean
yeah, yeah,
like let him go out on his own terms but don't be like hey bro you can't just keep playing you got to
yeah.
move
No, no,
on
no.
you know what I mean
He's
yeah
done. He's done. He's done.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this will be his last season. Well, this might be his last game. We'll see.
Oh I hope not bro because we need to win man
Yeah, well,
but anyways
yeah. All right.
yeah,
Well,
anyways should be good.
we kind of just like scraped the tip of the iceberg on this one. I think we will definitely go deep dive into some of these. I think the next one probably, hopefully after a game one win, sometime down the line we'll do like a deep dive analysis of our golden era for the Maroons.
Yeah, or maybe just like even a game one reaction if we win, yeah, like a really fucking epic game or something. But yeah, anyways, but this one's gonna be hard to edit as well, man. So sorry, man. I
No, no,
guess
I
you
won't be
gotta
editing much of this. No, no, this will just
just
be
raw it, just
this
raw
will be
dog it.
just for like the true footy fans. Like oh yeah, just shout out to Yongwini Peter, our fellow Bronco, and I'm sure Fat Joe, you might enjoy this one if you're still watching League, and Wu and Vinny obviously. So yeah, hope you boys enjoyed this one.
Shout out. All right, cut the recording, but stay on.
All right, peace out. Go the Maroons.
Queenslander.